A few days ago, Elon Musk said some very interesting things on the Joe Rogan podcast, and no one seems to be talking about it. He said that there are death cults in existence that are eroding the very fabric of civilization, and they want nothing more than to see the extinction of humanity. Check this out.
It's almost like a death cult.
It's a death cult. No, that is exactly right. It's essentially the extinctionists. Like, it's in the limit. It is that they're propagating the extinction of humanity and civilization. And there's some people who are like most of the time it's implicit. They don't but sometimes it's explicit. Like, there was a guy on the front page of the New York Times who literally has the thing called the extinctionist movement, and he was quoted on the front page of the New York Times as saying, there are 8 billion people in the world, but it would be better if there were none. And I'm like, well, buddy, you can start with yourself.
Yeah. Does he have friends? That's what always fascinates me.
Well,
here he is.
That guy.
He looks like he's not long for this earth.
I mean, he's not
Voluntary
young.
human extinction movement. That's hilarious. I'd like to party with that dude. I would just like to
That's an explicit version of the death cult.
Yeah, maybe live long
cult.
and die out.
It's not. The extinction is a word he uses.
Yes.
No, I mean, it's not. It's literally a self-description.
Do they cover him
death
glowingly?
Cult was in charge of social media.
Yeah.
And still largely is at Google and Facebook, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm like, I'm not in favor of human extinction. They are, and they can go to hell. One often hears of the sort of George Soros boogeyman, but I mean, Soros actually, he is, I believe, the top contributor to the Democratic Party. The second one was Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
So, and Soros, I don't know. I mean, he had a very difficult upbringing, and in my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. Getting DAs elected who refuse to prosecute crime. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and a bunch of other cities. So why would you do that?
Was it humanity, or is it just the United States as a whole? I mean,
he's pushing things in other countries too.
He's
not
doing
just
the
here.
same thing?
Yeah. Now, George at this point is pretty old. I mean, he's not, he's basically a bit senile at this point. But I mean, he's very smart, and he's very good at arbitrage. Famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his first money, was shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. So one of the things he noticed was that that the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. So the lowest value for money is a presidential race. Then next lowest value for money is a Senate race, then a Congress, and but once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws, you just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law, or the laws are differentially enforced, it's like changing the laws. That's what he figured out.
But is what's stunning that this trend, that people haven't pulled the brakes on this and have it reverse course?
I'm pulling the brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, pulling the brakes right now.
Yeah, you are. But you might be the only one.
Let's see if we can find any evidence of this happening in the news. This is from October 24th, 2023, just a few days ago. A Maryland man who plotted an ISIS-inspired attack in Virginia and Washington, D.C., released from jail. A federal judge this week ordered the release of a Germantown man who spent more than 4 years in prison. He planned an Islamic State group-inspired attack at Dulles International Airport in Virginia and a shopping complex in D.C. It said he pleaded guilty in August to attempting to perform an act of violence. Interesting. Here we have one from October 30th. Quote, 2 people accused of fatally shooting a man in Orange County released from custody. The article says 2 people accused in 28-year-old Anthony Nixon's killing are out of jail. The state's attorney's office said the case against him isn't suitable for prosecution. This next article says, quote, pedestrian's grieving family is furious over driver's release from jail. This is from October 25th. The article says, the driver was released on bond after being arrested in the weekend traffic death of a homeless pedestrian. It says she was charged with a felony homicide by vehicle and driving under the influence of drugs. And it says court records show from 2020, just a few years ago, that she was accused of driving under the influence of alcohol, too fast for the conditions, and a failure to maintain lanes. So she has a history of driving impaired, and now she killed somebody, and they let her out of jail. This one says Carlsbad woman who made bomb scare that locked down the city avoids jail via plea deal. A woman accused of making a bomb threat that led to a police lockdown in downtown Carlsbad in February took a plea deal and was sentenced to probation on Monday. Here we have one from October 5th. Suspect released from Orange County Jail 5 days before carjacking a woman. And the article says a woman was carjacked while pumping gas and dragged several feet. The court records show the suspect was released from jail 5 days prior because of lack of formal charges in a burglary case. Now if you thought that was bad, look at this one from October 24th. Quote, New Mexico teen mom guilty of tossing baby in dumpster to be released from jail. The article says a 19-year-old convicted of attempted first-degree murder of a child and child abuse, resulting in great bodily harm, is set to be released awaiting appeal. She was found guilty for throwing her newborn son into a dumpster at a shopping center. Here's another article from October 30th. It says, quote, Georgia man deemed danger to community released from jail. The article says, newly obtained court records reveal a man a judge called a danger to the community was released on bond after prosecutors missed court deadline to keep him in jail. It really does sound like the fabric of our civilization is being eroded. Here's another article from October 31st. 20-year-old murder suspect freed from jail on PR bond is back behind bars charged with another violent crime. The article says in January 2020, 7 suspects robbed a barbershop and got into a gunfight with the owner. 70 rounds were fired. Police say then a 17-year-old shot and killed one of his accomplices and was charged with murder, and they let him out. And while he was out, he committed another violent crime. But wait, there's more. Springfield EMS worker to be released from jail under Pre-Trial Fairness Act. The article says a Springfield EMS worker charged with first-degree murder will be released from jail. Just keeps getting worse and worse. How many more articles like this are we going to see? I'll show you one more, but I think you get the point already. Quote, community activist charged with released from jail. The article says a community activist is facing several counts of crimes after he was released from the Hudson County Jail on a hefty bond. That was just a few of the articles that are in the news right now. It's just the tip of the iceberg, honestly. I wonder what the true scale of this situation is. Well, I guess we will all find out sooner or later. But I want to know what you think. Is Elon Musk actually blowing the whistle on these types of things in service of humanity? Or is he just one of them, playing his role as a controlled opposition? What do you think? Put it in the comments section below. And I want to thank you all for watching this video. And until next time, God bless you all.